Hi crew, this is Captain Chris, and today I'm not going to be doing some green screen magic, as you can see behind me, because I got my new computer, and while I could probably get the green screen working with Power Director, I don't have any of my art assets over on this computer yet. So instead, I'm going to minimize myself and put up some gameplay behind me. Yeah, you can still see my face and whatever. But let's get on to business. So this week we're going to be talking about, I think it's Gamerlife number 10 already. Wow, that's amazing. Good job, BC, for keeping this going for at least 2 months, 2.5 months now. But today we're going to be talking about, do games need stories? Now, I'll just start off by saying I don't think they really do need stories. It's not essential to have a story, but it is enhancing to have a story. So what do I mean by this? So I'll take another example from media, other forms of media, because I think it illustrates this point more clearly and succinctly. Color is seen as one of the most essential parts of the movie-going experience nowadays. All right. If you go and you don't go to a movie theater to expect to see black and white, except if you go to see a film noir. If you go to see a noir film, which is done in all black and white, for in case you haven't done this or know these are old school genres that kind of mimic and use the lighting of black and white to emphasize certain points in the film design. And they do a great job of bringing out specific angles. And if I had my lights properly done, I would filter this and show you some of the effects I could create with just using like 2-point shadows or that type of thing in film, versus a traditional 3-point lighting system that is used pretty much elsewhere in film. Now, film noir is seen as an artistic derivation. I'm trying to think of derivative, the artistic derivative of film in general. No one is going to say film noir, you're not a film, okay? But it lacks color. Well, some of them do. Some of them filter red for great effect. So, like, the only color you see on screen is red when someone gets shot or bled. That type of thing. So, film noir is a great example of where color is an essential element now, but artistically, it can be reduced to create a different effect. Similarly, I believe games can exist without story. We started gaming, well, not all of us, because there are some younger members of the Legion here at Lvl10, but a lot of us are older. We started gaming on the NES. The only story we had to frame the events of the world were the instruction booklet. That's it. I mean, you could boil it down and say Mario has a story, but we weren't playing Mario for the story, put it that way. I mean, it's some pretty weird stuff if you go back and look at the instruction booklet, detailing what Mario actually is. I mean, Bowser's turning people into blocks. He's turning toads into blocks, and you're going around and breaking blocks, so that means you're just murdering people all over. It's crazy stuff. So if you actually know the story, it like completely it completely messes with your mind. So I don't recommend reading the story for Mario Bros. Actually, so the Mario Bros is better without a story. There's lots of examples. Zelda, for example, The Legend of Zelda, the very first one. You didn't know what the heck was going on. Like, well, I don't know. Like, there's this dude. He goes, I think I got into a cave. Here, take this. It's dangerous. Oh, okay. Now I got a sword. Now I have some way to defend myself. Now I'm going to explore, and that you created your own narrative. Link doesn't need a narrative. And I'll just highlight this, and I'll make myself bigger again. This guy, he don't need no narrative. Okay, he just doesn't need it, because the mark of the Zelda series, when it's being good, is all about exploration and wonder. All right, and that I think people give Nintendo design a lot of flack in general, but what you have to understand is Nintendo doesn't necessarily emphasize story; they emphasize gameplay. But that's another story for another day. What I'm saying is, story and narrative is an element of games, or if they can be reduced, it can be reduced to create a different artistic expression. There, finally found the word I wanted from earlier. So, what do I mean by this? Well, play like any Flash game ever. Do tower defenses need a story? How about Adventure Capitalist? All right, another popular Flash game. Does that need a story? There's so many examples just from like mobile games and Flash games where when people try to integrate a story into like mobile and Flash games, you're like skip. I don't care about this. I'm just here to just waste some time. All right. So there are a bunch of examples, and I could go 20 years on just describing the Flash games that I've played, but they're still games. They're still video games. All right. So then we move on to, I think I wanted to talk a little bit about this other object of reducing an element in a game to specifically, artistically tell a story, all right? So I think one of the most powerful moments for me in gaming was playing Thomas is Alone, and just thinking to myself, I'm never going to care about these little pixel blocks on a screen. And then all of a sudden, as the game progressed, I got more and more invested in this silly little pixel representation. That was interesting to me, to figure out that I didn't need flashy mocap to really get a sense of character, all right? And that is something that I reached, and I believe that games can do this well. So we have had one game thus far, and there's a new indie game that's coming out that I'm forgetting the name of. But there was a game for the PS3, Xbox 360 called Lair, I believe. I might be wrong on that, but it got critically panned because it tried to tell the story of like adventure games through their evolution, which really fascinated me. So you go into your first dungeon and you're like, what's going on? There's nothing nowhere. And then all of a sudden text pops up on your screen, and before you've been playing this full 3D adventure. And then you go through the different stages of adventure games. That type of thing fascinates me, and I believe that we can do that more as a gaming community now. There is a new indie game that's taking the art style of RPGs, and I'm forgetting this, and this is what's bothering me, but it's going through like, oh, this is the original Final Fantasy type graphics, like 23 pixels or whatever to depict something, all the way into 3D isometric viewpoints and battle systems. And that kind of gets me excited, because these are things that I've grown up with. To see the change in art styles so rapidly and to have it celebrated. I think it would be very interesting. There's this game that just came out called White Knight, and it's not like white knighting as you understand in the internet, but it's a survival horror that uses the film noir black and white sense of lighting to really emphasize the environment of where you're going around. Killer 7 is another game that uses black and white, things that we take for granted. Now, I would love to see a video game that tries, it's probably not going to sell well, so no developer's ever going to do this, but just tries to create a AAA game without any story whatsoever. I would try to see if we could do that and have it be a successful experiment. Bank on aesthetics, gameplay, and just exploration and wonder. We don't need AAA budget storytelling if we, the player, have agency and can control and craft our own stories. That's the magic behind Minecraft. We create our own existence there. I mean, we create our own world. I mean, yeah, the game provides a narrative for those that care, but no one really cares about killing the Ender Dragon. I mean, yeah, that was just... I kind of wish the game didn't even have that, you know? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, as I classify myself as a bookworm, and I love me some story-based RPGs, my favorite game probably... Well, okay, I can't say favorite game, but one of my favorite games is Tales of Symphonia, all right? The Tales of series, high up there on my list. Great gameplay, corny stories to begin with, but by the end, there's an actual change in a wonderful, story, and, I classify myself as a bookworm. I'll sit down and spend 100 hours in an RPG if I care enough about the characters, all right? But you as the game designer, need to make me care, all right? It's not like, oh, well, I guess I'll give this a chance, and if it's good, and after 30 hours, I'm going to continue. No, you have to hook me in like 1-2 minutes with your story, all right? Otherwise, I got a backlog that is larger than, I don't know. I have enough games to play right now and not enough time to play them probably for the next 4 to 5 years. So if you don't hook me and you promise to be a 100-hour-long experience, guess where you're going? Not the trash, not the trade-in bin, but you're going back in the backlog closet because if you fail to interact with me in that time, it's gone. That time is gone. Now, you can bring about good gameplay, explorative elements, and hook me some way into the world. But primarily, if your story stinks, it's a pass for me, all right? That being said, I love Terraria, I love Starbound, I love Minecraft. Heck, I'll show off another little thing on my desk. My favorite animal's a frog, and I'm glad I didn't do the green screen because he'd be invisible. Let me see if I get it. My wife gave me this. It's like a little Lego frog kit. Let's see. I'm going to do some crazy trippy stuff. My desk is currently propagated by Legos. So, I love to do explorative and creative things. That's just how things go for me. You don't need a story, but it does help. It helps a lot. Well, I think that about wraps it up. And, thank you for tuning in. And until we meet again, stay on target.